Buddy!
When I saw trailers and advertisements for the new CW series Arrow, my immediate thought was it'll get cancelled after Series 1. I never even planned on watching it. I figured it wouldn't be on TV in the UK anytime soon, and I wasn't going to go to lengths to watch it online as my computer is terrible. I just happened to stumble upon it when I was flicking through the on-demand service on my Virgin TV, and episode 1 was free, so I figured what the heck. I have to say that my opinion of the show has grown more positive as more episodes come along. When I watched the pilot, I could see a lot of things I thought were so cliché, especially for a CW show. I was slightly annoyed that they didn't just spin off Green Arrow from Smallville and just build off from there, and possibly do the character better than Smallville did. The fact that the show was simply called Arrow was also a bad sign to me. It seemed like they were embarrassed to be adapting a comic book because they never actually called it Green Arrow. I've never really liked this, like when movies are afraid to have the sequel number in the title so they name it something else. For instance, instead of Rocky 6, it was called Rocky Balboa. That stuff just makes me scratch my head. And aside from the fact that my opinion of the title remains the same, I'm enjoying this series a lot more than I expected to. It's by no means perfect, it has its moments and its bad moments. Fortunately for us, it's heading in a much better direction than I think a lot of us were expecting. I am a casual fan of Green Arrow, so the stuff that I've noticed they're going for is very interesting. So far I haven't gotten too angry with anything adapted from the source material that's been messed around with too much, probably because this show is handling the source material fairly well so far. When I watched the first 3 episodes, I started to worry about this repetition that seemed to be going on. Oliver Queen has a hit list, he takes them out, one every episode. That seemed really unappealing to me, more so after episode 3 because that was what seemed to be happening. But the series has done a good job at teasing us and actually giving us some great stories and twists instead of this repetitious hit list story every episode. The characters are interesting. I've begun to really like them a lot more as the series has gone on so far. One of my favourites is Oliver Queen, played by Stephen Amell, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. I don't think I've seen this actor in anything before. He seems to have come out of nowhere, but I really like him. I think he gets the character of Oliver Queen, he looks the part, and he doesn't look stupid in the costume, which is always important. I think he manages to deliver his lines with a serious tone, and he treats this as a serious show and not a silly comic book series. I really buy that this guy is Oliver Queen, more so than I did Justin Hartley from Smallville, who was also good in the role. The only time the actor ever loses me is his narration at the beginning of every episode. It's incredibly dramatic, and he feels like a completely different character. I find it really hard to take him seriously when he's like this because, honestly, it sounds like someone kinda taking the piss. Like, he literally sounds like, "And I will bring justice to my city and right my father's wrongs for the good of mankind." Now, he doesn't say that word for word, obviously, but my main point is that it sounds so different from how he sounds and acts in the rest of the series that it feels unnatural and forced to me. Other than that, I'm sold on this actor. I look forward to him making the character his own more as we go on. The characters I consider my other personal favourites are Diggles, who is possibly my favourite overall, Laurel, who I look forward to seeing grow, and Inspector Lance. All of these characters at the moment I'm recording this have a lot more to go in terms of character arcs and so forth, but I'm very intrigued by what we've seen of them so far. The one character I just don't get is the mum. I don't think this is a spoiler as it's revealed in episode 1, but it's revealed that Ollie's mum is an antagonist and clearly the show paints her in an untrustworthy light. But then we get episodes where we're meant to be sympathetic towards her, or there's a nice moment between her and Ollie, and it doesn't really seem like the writers know what they're doing with her. The bottom line is, I'm not going to feel sorry for her that Ollie keeps running off to places and that she never sees him, if she's secretly hiring criminals to torture and get information out of him in episode 1. The show seems to be changing its mind on how we're meant to view this character, and I don't really know what to think of her at this point. I also think they're dragging his sister on this whole drugs and drinking thing now. She hasn't shown much sign of growth as a character, and she is going to be this continuity Speedy, and quite frankly, if she doesn't start the first steps of her character development soon, I can't say I'm very excited to see her become a sidekick in the future. The costume itself looks really good. It doesn't look cheap, it looks like it's built for functionality, and the actor does look great in it. However, we haven't really seen it in daylight, so I think part of it might be down to lighting, but it looks good from what I can see. Not sure how I feel about the fact that he paints his eyes instead of using the classic mask. Having him paint his eyes makes it less believable that he can switch from Green Arrow to Oliver Queen in less than a minute. I also find it really hard to believe that no one can tell it's him. He gets up close to people a lot, and even though when he's talking to people he's actually close to as Green Arrow, he uses a voice changer, I still find it hard to believe that they can't tell it's him. I want the smart characters to appear smart, and when stuff like that goes over their heads, I question their intelligence. It hasn't happened a lot. He's only got up close to one major character, so this may not be a repetitive thing. I really like how fast the show is going so early in the series. Episode 5 was the episode that made me come out and say, that's it, I'm hooked, I'll be watching the rest of the series now. The show has given us what seems like 3 to 4 months worth of story in only 6 episodes. That's an achievement. In every episode we cut to flashbacks of Ollie's time spent on the island, and as we keep going, more things are revealed. I really like that whatever is happening in the flashbacks always relates to what's happening in the present in each episode. My one main gripe is the title of the character. Whenever people refer to this guy, they call him a number of things. The hooded guy, the vigilante, the guy with the arrows, and more. Can someone please just call him Green Arrow? Because it's generally getting on my nerves that no one calls him that. All these different names that they're using are titles used in a jokey term, like they genuinely don't know what to call him. And I get that they're going for a serious tone here, but no one is going to object to Oliver saying, I'm Green Arrow. I also wonder if newcomers to this show know what this is all about. The show's not called Green Arrow, and the character isn't called Green Arrow, so what's to imply that this is based on the comic books? I generally worry that people are going to think that this is a modern-day adaptation of Robin Hood, going after rich people, the green clothes, the bow and arrow, and they even keep mentioning Robin Hood, which doesn't really help. This show, I think, could encourage non-fans to pick up a Green Arrow comic book once in a while, and if people don't even know that this is based on a comic book character, they're going to be confused about a lot of this. Fortunately, despite the show implying that it's embarrassed to be based on a comic book, the show itself embraces that stuff. We get villains from the comics and hints towards future roles in the series with the current main characters. I don't know every Green Arrow comic inside and out, so I'm not too sure if it's following the source material that well all the time, but it takes it and does different things with it, which is part of why I keep coming back for more. My only other gripe is that Green Arrow kills people in this series. He's been doing it less and less as the episodes go on, but I can't help it. Green Arrow doesn't kill, and quite frankly, I don't think he should at all, especially as they're setting up this relationship that he has with Inspector Lance. It seems like they're aiming for a Batman-Inspector Gordon kind of relationship, but the difference is, in Batman, he doesn't actually kill. Rules of the law literally prevents Gordon from arresting Batman, and he doesn't want to because Batman's actually doing the right thing. Here, Green Arrow does kill people. He's a murderer, and I find it hard to come around to that. He talks every episode about justice, and killing just doesn't scream justice to me. Supposed heroes or vigilantes that work outside of the law and kill is everything people like Superman and other DC superheroes stand against. So, what is this telling us? I don't know, perhaps I'm judging it too quickly on that part. Well, aside from the few problems I have with this series, it has shown potential, and I look forward to watching the rest of the series. And quite frankly, I am enjoying it. I think it's going pretty well so far. What do you guys think? Do you like Arrow? Be sure to comment, and as always, if you like this video, you can subscribe to my channel.